Welcome back to the Dark Truth Diaries. Tonight's story is one I didn't plan to tell. Not because it wasn't compelling, but because the closer I got to the truth, the more uncomfortable it made me. This isn't just a story about betrayal. It's about erasure. About what happens when the people closest to you decide you're no longer necessary. They didn't want to hurt her. They wanted to replace her. Quietly. Legally. Emotionlessly. But what they didn't realize was that she had already seen the plan forming in the shadows. And instead of screaming, instead of running, instead of begging to be loved, she waited. This is the true crime revenge story of a woman who let them believe they had one. Right up until the moment she turned the tables. This is they planned to replace her. But she turned the tables. I first learned about this case through an encrypted email. No name. No greeting. Just one sentence. They're trying to erase me, and I need someone to know what really happened before I disappear from my own life. Attached were documents. Legal papers. Screenshots. Audio transcripts. At first glance, it looked like a messy divorce. But the deeper I went, the clearer it became. This wasn't a breakup. This was a hostile takeover. Her name, at least the one I'll use, was Elena Cross. And what they did to her was cold, methodical, and almost perfect. Almost. Elena was the kind of woman people rarely worry about. Quiet confidence. Reliable. Loyal. The glue type. She was married to Marcus Cross, a rising executive with ambition that leaked into every room he entered. Together for 12 years. Married for 9. They built everything together. The house. The finances. The connections. The reputation. Elena handled the background, the contracts, schedules, budgets, and social obligations. Marcus handled visibility. Everyone thought he was the brains. That was their first mistake. Elena told me. When people think you're harmless, they stop hiding their knives. It started subtly. Marcus stopped asking for her input. Stopped sharing details. Stopped coming home on time. Then came the meetings she wasn't invited to. The phone calls that ended when she entered the room. The unfamiliar female name that kept popping up on emails. Talia. Marcus said she was just HR. But HR doesn't text your husband at midnight. Elena didn't confront him. She watched. She listened. She remembered. And then came the sentence that changed everything. One night, half asleep, she heard Marcus whisper into his phone. Once everything is finalized, she won't be a problem anymore. He thought she was asleep. She wasn't. Elena began quietly digging. What she uncovered was devastating. Marcus wasn't just cheating. He was restructuring his entire life. The woman, Talia, was younger, polished, ambitious. She worked in legal compliance. And together, they had a plan. Marcus was positioning Elena as unstable. Emotionally unreliable. Financially confused. He had started documenting fabricated incidents. Selective texts. Edited conversations. Worst of all, he was preparing to remove Elena from shared assets legally. Using loopholes she herself had once helped him understand. They weren't planning a divorce. They were planning a replacement. A new wife. A new image. A new narrative. Elena said something to me I'll never forget. They didn't want me gone. They wanted me rewritten. Most people would panic. Elena didn't. She did something far more dangerous. She stayed silent. She cooked dinner. Asked about his day. Smiled at Talia when she finally met her. And behind the scenes, she began documenting everything. She recorded conversations. Saved drafts. Backed up files. She contacted a lawyer but didn't hire him yet. She contacted a financial analyst, quietly. She contacted me last. She told me, if I'm going to disappear, I want proof that I existed. But Elena wasn't planning to disappear. She was planning a reversal. Elena intentionally leaned into the role they were assigning her. She acted forgetful. Distracted. Emotional. She let Marcus believe she was unraveling. He began speaking openly around her. That's when she learned the final detail. Marcus and Talia were planning to claim Elena had agreed to step back from the marriage for mental health reasons. There were drafts of statements, PR talking points, a timeline. They weren't just replacing her in private. They were replacing her publicly. And Elena let them think it was working. What Marcus didn't know was that Elena had already restructured the finances. Legally, quietly, correctly. She moved assets into protected accounts. Activated clauses Marcus had forgotten existed. Triggered audits he didn't see coming. She had emails proving intent. Recordings proving manipulation. And testimony from people Marcus assumed were loyal to him. Including one person who shocked everyone. Talia. Because here's the twist no one saw coming. Talia didn't know she was the replacement. She thought Elena already knew. She thought Elena had checked out. Elena met her privately. Woman to woman. No yelling. No threats. Just truth. And the truth shattered everything. The fallout was immediate. Marcus was confronted by both women separately. Then legally. Then professionally. The company launched an investigation. The financial audit froze accounts. The narrative collapsed. Marcus went from architect to suspect overnight. Elena filed first. Divorce. Asset protection. Defamation. Everything Marcus planned to do to her. She did to him. Legally. Coldly. Irreversibly. Elena told me about the last time she saw Marcus. He was shaking. Not angry. Not arrogant. Afraid. He asked her, "When did you stop loving me?" She answered, "When you decided I was replaceable." And then she left. No tears. No apology. Just silence. Marcus lost his position. His reputation. His carefully constructed future. Talia resigned. Moved cities. Started over. And Elena. She reclaimed her name. Her story. Her life. She told me in our final conversation. They thought I was weak because I was quiet. But quiet people hear everything. And that is the true story of Elena Cross. A woman who didn't scream, didn't beg, didn't break. She waited. And when the moment was right, she turned the tables. Let me ask you, if the people closest to you tried to erase you, would you walk away? Or would you make sure the truth followed them forever? If this story stayed with you, leave a comment below. Like the video. Subscribe to the Dark Truth Diaries. And remember, sometimes the most dangerous person in the room is the one everyone thinks they've already replaced. Until next time, stay aware.